So when I watched the Worlds Collide Tour concert special, the one thing that was always constant with me and that stood out was Malia Baker's appreciation for all of you and the love and support you had for people like her. And I kind of agreed with her because I don't know if I've ever experienced anything that even closely resembles the feeling that I've experienced having the chance to be a part of your niche and your world. This is truly undescribable, and it's held a very special place in my heart for quite some time and will continue to for many years to come. I think one of the biggest things that have made me feel connected to this franchise is just how emotionally connected every cast member is to the characters they play and bring to life, and the appreciation they have for all of you. I've really appreciated you guys. You guys have really grown on me, and I've loved creating content for you, and I've had no regrets ever since the very first video that I ever created. I always wanted to say something nice about Descendants of Zombies to give you guys hope. I wanted to instill hope in all of your minds because I knew that we were in store for something really special to happen for Descendants of Zombies. I may have never known what that special thing was that we were all about to experience, but I knew it was going to be something special, and I just wanted to be a part of that. You know, every single time that I upload a video, there's always at least one person who subscribes, somebody who likes the video. There is always somebody who has an outflowing of love and support for every video that I create. I have no idea why. I've always believed that it's had something to do with how I could tell these stories and the greater appreciation I've always had for characters like Alice in Wonderland characters, Cinderella characters. They really have held a very special place in our heart for many years, and we've seen many different variations of these stories played over time. Theatrical presentations, animated presentations. People believe in these princesses stories and the heroes that make these stories happen. And your favorite Descendants of Zombies characters have done an exceptionally fabulous job keeping these stories alive. Some of these stories have been around for almost 100 years. And even with how hard that is to believe, there have been so many different versions of these stories told over the last 100 years. And I've had the time of my life being a part of all of these stories. I've had the time of my life sharing my story with you. I've had the time of my life hearing your stories from your perspectives about what made you fans of this unbelievable franchise that has held a very special place in our heart for many years, for a very long time, and will continue to for many years to come. Because when we think about Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland, we have one too many predictions. And they're all going to come together, and they're truly going to create something special. But do you think this story is over? I don't think you should ever think this story is over. Because the way I've always seen this is that this story is far from over, and we have so much yet to explore. We have so much yet to experience. We have so much yet to be a part of, and I can't wait to be a part of it with all of you. Because there are so many chances to create daughters and sons off these Disney villains and these Disney heroes that we have never seen before. Like, where is Alice's daughter, Allie? Where is Rapunzel's daughter, Ruby? You guys remember those characters from Descendants Wicker World, don't you? If you're a die-hard fan of the original trilogy, you obviously watched Descendants Wicker World. I'm currently in the process of watching the second season. And the thing that stood out to me about the first season were all these lovely characters kind of just showed up at randomness, and they've been a part of our lives for forever. Although nothing was really ever done with them in live-action adaptations of Descendants, and I think that if you're looking to expand off what the franchise originally was, you can very easily expand off of it with all these wonderful characters that we have yet to see make a name for themselves within these franchises. I really appreciated how Ruby, the daughter of Rapunzel, had such an appreciation for life like her mother. Because the one thing that I noticed about the Tangled live action was that Rapunzel just had this overflowing of appreciation for life and everybody who was a part of her life, even Mother Gothel. She gave her more of a chance than she probably ever should. But the thing is, she always had an appreciation with no matter who it was, for whatever reason. And that's what left me in a state of captivation about Rapunzel. And I thought to myself, why was there only ever one Tangled movie? They had a Tangled series called Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, originally called the Tangled Animated Series. For those of you who watched it back in 2017, they rechanged the name from Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure to that. And it was, it was such a fun show to watch. And I often thought, why didn't they make Tangled 2? Now, there have been a lot of rumors why Tangled 2 has not happened. I guess they're focusing on the live-action Tangled being shot in Spain, and I think that's really cool. I think Milo Manheim is going to do a wonderful job playing Eugene Flint Rider, who was one of my favorite characters, originally voiced by Zachary Levi. And I think Mandy Moore's appreciation for the voice of Rapunzel is just second to none. There were a lot of conversations happening about Freya Skye playing Rapunzel. There was a lot of conversation about Meg Donnelly playing Rapunzel. I think that no matter who you would have given that distinction to from Descendants for Zombies fame, they really would have really ran away with it. I think that Dove Cameron also ended up in the conversation as well, but she's pretty much closed the door on doing anything with Disney ever again. I highly doubt, though, that Dove Cameron will keep that door closed for forever. I know there are a lot of people out there who think that Dove Cameron should return to reprise her role as Mal, and they forever and always held on to that. And I've kind of agreed with them because I really don't think that Mal's story was ever told and completed. I really don't think the story of Mal and Ben was ever reaching a point of finality. I think they just wanted to get to that point because they wanted to pursue other projects. They wanted to make more of their careers, and I think they felt like Disney wasn't really letting them stand out and represent themselves for who they wanted to be. But they had such a cultural impact. You know, it was said that Twilight was the most celebrated vampire fantasy story ever told. It sold over like 15, 20 million copies, and it generated a higher budget than any movie of that generation ever did. It was said that the cast of Twilight would never have to do anything for the rest of their lives, and they would have made history. And undoubtedly they did for the cultural impact. But if there ever was an argument to be made about what has made such a significant cultural impact within this generation, I would say Descendants of Zombies hands down. And I would argue forever with everybody about how much of a cultural impact it actually made because it had a profound cultural impact on so many wonderful hearts. Be it the reason why people collect the dolls, buy all the merch up, buy the tickets for the Worlds Collide tours like 1 and 2, and are so excited to be a part of all these events they have the chance to experience. And I'm just so honored to be here and to be a part of it with all of you. Because there are so many people who just show up here and they give you an opinion about Descendants of Zombies for what it's worth. They don't really go in depth like I do. They've never chosen to take it further, and I've always wanted to go further with these franchises. I've always wanted to explore like Indiana Jones and find the Fountain of Youth and take these franchises to places they've never been, because I think that if there ever is a girl out there watching this video who's ever had an imagination and believed in her own imagination with all of her heart, you can really go further with these franchises and you can give that girl hope while being a part of her story because she's allowing you the honor and the prestige of being a part of her story and why she's a fan of Descendants of Zombies. I really believe there are more people out there who are fans of Descendants of Zombies than have ever admitted to being fans of Descendants of Zombies. You know, we talk about all these characters that have cultural impacts and how people may be too old to kind of, you know, live the Disney spirit and live through eras and, you know, be fans of things like Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh and Frozen and Tangled. But, you know, every day when you're out about and you're doing your everyday errands, you're always seeing somebody with a passionate sense of wearing a Mickey Mouse t-shirt or hoodie, wearing a Frozen t-shirt or Frozen pajamas. Every day I go to the mall, I see somebody wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt, or I see somebody wearing Hello Kitty pajamas. The reason why they do that is because no matter how far away from their childhood they seem to be, they are always connected to it, and they are forever linked to the characters that have represented their personalities. You may not know this, but how you're a fan of Hello Kitty helps you develop your personality. When you're really young, you're 5 years old, you're watching Hello Kitty and Bluey, which Meg Donnelly still does, which I kind of agree with because Bluey was just such a sweet character. The thing is, and he always wanted to make everybody happy around him, he often reminded me of how SpongeBob SquarePants was forever annoying, but, you know, when you're feeling down, all of a sudden here comes Bluey, and there was just something with the opening of the show, you know, Bluey kind of thing, and he would show up. Be it the reason why I have a Bluey stuffy behind me that is the size of my head. I love Bluey so much, man. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I've loved all these characters for how emotionally connected we felt to them. The thing is, these characters, the reason why people are forever connected to them is because it helps them develop their personalities and really channel creative energy. And creative energy is something really special that we should never take for granted. Like, I would have loved to have been a part of the animated studio of Disney and been a part of Pixar and been a part of creating all these stories like Toy Story and Frozen and Tangled and Phineas and Ferb and eventually Descendants of Zombies. because what these franchises have forever needed is somebody with a creative thought about what could happen for Victor and Nova, what could happen for Freya Sky and Malachi Burton, what could ever become a part of them. And I think if you believe in it enough, you can create something special that people will continue to hold on to and believe in themselves more than they ever imagined possible. That's what's so special about being a creative writer or a producer. My issue with the creative writing team is that there's always a revolving door seemingly to be spinning widely more open, because the director's chair and the creative team is forever revolving around who's coming in next. I think Descendants of Zombies has always deserved a dedicated team to bringing it to life, not seeing one face, becoming familiar with them, and then being reintroduced to a whole new cast, a whole new director, a whole new production team. If you've got a movie with a budget of $87 million, which is what Descendants of Zombies pretty much had allocated for both franchises, over $87.5 million. If you've got a budget of $87.5 million, you can have, if anything, a dedicated team, a dedicated writer, a dedicated producer, and a dedicated cast, which this cast seems to be. This cast seems to really be it. They are really taking it home. Now, I will forever miss Ruby. I will forever miss some nostalgic characters who have forever held a special place in the hearts of many Descendants of Zombies fans, who have forever been loyal to the original trilogy, who have ever wanted to believe in whatever they wanted to believe in, and whoever they wanted to believe in and hold close to their heart. I get that. But I've been forever supportive of this new cast because the one thing I know that is constant is they still have a long way to go. And because they still have a long way to go, that doesn't mean that they can't get there with love and support from all of us, and myself included. I always wanted to be a dedicated voice of Descendants of Zombies who would never go away, who would always be here believing in this franchise with all of his heart. And because of all of you, I had the chance to experience that. I never imagined this YouTube channel would have gone on to be so well received and had like 4,000 people subscribe here, but it happened, and it happened seemingly overnight, because I really poured my heart into Descendants of Zombies. You know, there are so many people out there who forever feel passionate about collecting dolls from their favorite franchises, wearing the merch, all the things that go with it, and I think that's really beautiful. You know, if you feel proud to wear your Hello Kitty hoodie and you've never taken it off, or you feel really proud to wear that Freya Sky hoodie that you paid over $100 for online, believe you me, I priced them, I know. Some of you have them exported in. Some of you are so proud to wear them you can't wait to unbox them and show them off on social media. It's really cool how much of a cultural impact somebody like Freya has had on all of our hearts, how much of a cultural impact Descendants of Zombies has really taken away from this era of Disney. And I think that if there ever was a franchise or franchises that define what this generation is really all about, and I'm even just saying this because it's me, it's definitely Descendants of Zombies. Descendants of Zombies have so many different fans who obviously feel very differently. No fan feels the same when it comes to Descendants of Zombies. Some people take exception to it. Not everybody feels the same, but there are far more people who do love Descendants of Zombies than don't. For every single person who doesn't love Descendants of Zombies, there's always somebody who does. There's always somebody who loves this guy who's suffering from an itchy nose, who thinks he lives in a haunted house near a soil plantation in a chemical plant that could explode at any given moment, and what he has to say about the franchises and where he thinks they're headed next. Because I really do think we're in store for something special, and we have a chance to be a part of it, and I've just loved having a chance to be a part of it with all of you, and I look ahead to the future because I'm just excited for all of you to experience it. Because the thing is, you will think back to when you watched Zombies for the first time when you were probably, 16, and now you're 17, going on 18, and Zombies 5 is on the way out, and you're going to think back on all the wonderful memories you had with your friends, with your family, all the time you spent together at the Worlds Collide Tour, at the meet and greets, saving up all your money, buying all the Descendants of Zombies dolls, all the merch that comes with being a fan, and that's what makes it all worth it. How you represent yourself emphatically for being a fan of a franchise or being admired by what these stars and these heroes that many of you have seen in these stars have done for you. That's what defines you for being some of the greatest fans of Descendants of Zombies that I've ever encountered, that I've ever had the chance to be a part of, and I've emphatically had the chance to be a part of really everything. I've been a part of every generation of Disney, as you see there behind me on my wall, every nostalgic character represented that you could ever think of. I've taken great pride in being a part of whatever generations I had both the honor and the privilege to be a part of, to have been considered a part of, and to have represented you as a part of your lives. So thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel, even after all this time, because this really is a tale that is old as time, and we have a beautiful future in store for characters that are played by Malachi Burton and Freya Sky, Nova and Victor, and I think it's really a beautiful love story that we are all going to be a part of, and that we are never ever going to forget what direction, in terms of a direction, Nova and Victor's story is headed in. Obviously, it's building up for a dramatic kiss that I think we've been waiting on for forever, and I think as they get older and time passes, because time, what you got to think about is time is really of the essence, and time never lasts for forever, and time always runs out. So when time elapses through the hourglass, we are bound to see this kiss, no matter if it's in Zombies 5, Zombies 6, Zombies 100, we will eventually see that. And you're probably saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, do you really think we're going to get to Zombies 100? Yeah, I do. Because if you really believe in this franchise with all of your heart, for sure Zombies 100 is going to happen. It's bound to happen. If you can have WrestleMania 500 and Super Bowl 58, you can... There haven't been 500 WrestleManias, but if you can have that, numerically speaking, for all these events like the Super Bowl and WrestleMania, sure you can. Because there are so many wonderful people out there who love Descendants of Zombies with all their hearts, so why not? You know, if I was the CEO of Disney and somebody came to me and said, can we have a budget for Descendants of Zombies, I would sign that deal immediately. I would never turn it down. I would offer them what they wanted to come back, just to have an enjoyable experience, because you can never seem to have enough enjoyable experiences and have more of a chance to put a smile on somebody's face who may love Bluey, who may love these nostalgic characters that were a part of their lives for forever, that they've never wanted to let go of, or they've never wanted to say goodbye to. And we have never wanted to say goodbye to characters such as Ed and Addison for how much of a cultural impact they had on our lives, but we eventually had to. But who's to say their story was really ever over? I think what you've always needed is a director who believes in you just as much as you believe in them, because you always believed in these franchises, but so many people quit on you long before their time. And I just wanted to be somebody who could have a chance of being a creative writer or creative director to really bring these franchises to life with so much magic, because maybe it's always had something to do with how I've always believed in magic myself. And most of all, I believed in you because you gave me the chance to be a part of both your world and your story. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel. There's probably somebody wiping a tear out of their eyes, and I can't say that I blame you for how emotionally connected I've been to these franchises. I got a bolt. But guys, keep on subscribing, keep on showing so much love and support for these videos, because they truly mean to me more than words could ever say. So much appreciation coming from my heart that I can only hope exists within yours. I know you're great people, and you will eventually subscribe here because you all see something special in these videos that I've loved creating for you, and I've just loved being a part of. Thank you so much, whoever you are watching this video, for allowing me the chance to be a part of your life and your story, because that means so much to me, more than words could ever say. And thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of both Descendants and Zombies, because I've really had the time of my life. Thank you so much from wherever you're watching this video tonight, from wherever you're hearing my voice. Thank you so much for believing in Descendants of Zombies with all of your heart, and as always, from my heart to yours, thank you so much for having watched these videos.